Hello folks, welcome to a Walkie Talkie. I would like to provide a further update since we last talked about Uber Eats being in a uber amount of trouble. Well, especially in Glasgow, there has been a mammoth, I would say, uprising in their presence of delivery bikes, because for quite a while actually you barely seen an Uber Eats. You seen your deliver twats and your just be a shit and various other kind of bicycle delivery operatives. See that taxi over there? He was the one that did what he did with my mum and nearly whack her leg with the car. So KV22XNL, you have been doxed, bitch. Right, so yeah, back to the thing. There was a fair amount of time where there was very few sightings of our Uber Eats, and then this whole thing, look at you sunshine. It was a fair amount of time where things like Uber Eats on the ground level just seemed to be very quiet. Nobody was seen driving or whatever they're called for Uber Eats. Right, very nice. And then suddenly this thing came to the fore about them employing people that have failed the right to work check. There we go. Aye. So and from after that, there was this mammoth kind of uppage of seeing these Uber Eats delivery cyclists right across the board, not just in the city centre but the West End. And also I've got to admit, the adverts on the telly have suddenly become a hell of a lot more visible, right? For long enough the adverts just near enough didn't exist in UK terrestrial television, right? And I did kind of think to myself at the time, I haven't heard of Uber Eats all that while, and then all of a sudden we're getting inundated. I'm like, wow, okay. So obviously they're trying to big up their presence and big up them being good boys and whatever, and that's absolutely fine, but that's not really the truth. People that fail the right to work are immigrants, and employing immigrants not in the right way could actually cost the company £5,000 per head, right? And as I said in the video, it was discovered there was more than 10,000 that satisfy this requirement to be categorised failed the right to work. And if you do 5,000 times 10,000, which is 50 million, that's quite considerable numbers. But instead of actually dealing with the problem and whatever else, what did they do? Big up their presence on the ground and on the telly, making themselves sound like they're good boys and girls, when in actual fact they're very naughty. All are very naughty. On the way up to this bus station, I'd actually seen two of these Uber Eats, where normally I wouldn't see any. I would see all the other brands. But anywho, I think I've basically covered things now, because I've I do believe I've covered things because I've covered all the topics that I'm going to. So I better get myself back into this bus station and get my bus. It's only one a day, so if I miss it, I'm fucked. Anyway, folks, hope you like, share, subscribe, and comment. Comment as well if you're wanting specific topics dealt with. And until the next time, may love you a long time. But before I go, see that bus that's pink? They're getting replaced by 74 plate Volvo buses, and they're mint green. They look the part, I certainly do see her. But at Airport Run, before I go into much else, at Airport Run buses never are on the road any more than 5 years before a fleet change. So there we have it. Until that used to be a National Express vehicle. Anyway, right, before I get geeky, I'm going to turn the camera off.